my crafty friends. Well, I'm going to talk about these two wheels and the similarities and differences between them, and I guess kind of how I feel about both of them since I've been spinning on them. This is only my second bobbin I've spun on this one because it's really pretty new. This one I've spun on a lot. I did get both of these from Dreaming Robots, and both of them through the Kickstarter program. And I'm very pleased with both of them. I'm glad I did the Kickstarter. You get some benefits for doing that. And both of them, if you go to their website, this wheel costs $289 right now. This one's $125, and this is April of 2023, in case you're watching this video, 5 years from now. Both of them are very reasonable in price. I don't think you can get another electric spinner of this quality that comes anywhere near to this price. I looked at other ones before I joined the Kickstarter on this one, and that was definitely true. There may be something out there I don't know about now, because I've had it for a couple of years, and so maybe 3. I don't know. I've had it for a little while. Obviously, big difference is the size. Not only the size of the machine, but the size of the bobbins. These bobbins are said to hold 8 ounces. There are people who can get 8 ounces on there. I can't. I don't have my my wheel finessed to the point where I can pack it that tightly. This one says it will hold 2 ounces. And I didn't quite get 2 ounces of fiber on the first bobbin like this. And I'm sure I won't get 2 ounces on this one. I had 2 ounces in my bag for each one, and I had about that much longer left over of the other one. And so anyway, so that's what, if you're an expert, maybe you can get on these wheels. I can't do that, but that doesn't matter. When I bought this one, I wanted the biggest, most versatile machine I could buy for the cheap, for the best price. And they had a Nano one at that time, and I think it was $110. And then this one, I did the Kickstarter, so I got a little bit cheaper than what they sell it for in the store. Not a lot. I don't remember exactly what it cost in the Kickstarter, but I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, I wanted the most versatile machine I could get, and so I didn't choose the Nano. I chose this one because of the big bobbins, because it was quieter, all of those things, and it is quieter. I'll show you in a minute. But it's still very portable. But I got this one because it weighs practically nothing, and it is extremely portable. Plus, I know if I fill up 2 of these bobbins, and maybe even 3 of these bobbins, I probably could. If I fill 3 of these bobbins, I could ply it on this machine and get it all one skein. If I didn't have this machine, then I would have, if I did a 3-ply, I would have to divide it into 2 small skeins. That's not a big deal. You just have 2 skeins instead of 1. But I like having 2 of them because I can ply these onto here, and that's kind of a bonus. I don't know. If I hadn't had the money for this one, I would have definitely bought the first Nano. I'm glad I didn't buy the first Nano, because now I got the new improved version. This is Nano 2. This is EEW 6, Electric Eel Wheel 6. So the size, of the bobbins, the size of the machine, the weight of the machine, the portability of it is different. Both of them are very portable. This one is like throwing a bag to take on the plane portable. This one you probably, I mean, you could. I've even seen people, you know, have it on a board in their lap and spin in the car. I even did that once. This one would be easier to do that with. And so probably when I take one with me to go somewhere, I'll probably take this one because it's just easier. It's smaller. It doesn't take up the space. It's lighter weight to carry. You know, even all the accessories are smaller. I mean, you know, if you take extra bobbins, extras of these versus extras of these, you can tell the difference there. Most spinners have kind of a default yarn that they spin. And this is, well, this is pretty much mine. And I can spin my default way on both of them. This one's faster and puts more twist in a lot faster. So I could probably spin cotton on this one. I don't know that I could spin cotton on this one. I know people who do, but I don't think I'm good enough at spinning cotton that I could do that. But I know I could spin cotton on this one because it's smooth and fast. So, you know, a lot of the differences also has to do with what your abilities are as a spinner. Another thing I like about both of them is that both of them have this, I got the case with both of them to put a battery in. So this is all I have. I don't have to take a cord with me. That battery will, I can spin for hours on a charged battery. Hours and hours. So, so I just take this with me and the extra bobbins and fiber, and that's it. Now this one you turn on and off with this. It doesn't have a foot pedal like this one. I even use this with my hand. Because I'm left-handed, this is more awkward for me. I can do it okay, but I have to have the machine closer to me than this one because I can put this here and I can have it on my left side. Whereas most people who are right-handed, they're spinning from the other side, and this is easier to reach. So if you're right-handed, this works great. If you're left-handed, it's a little more awkward. And this is an add-on. It's not the pedal that came with it. I spent, I think, $10 and got this one because it's you just touch it. You don't have to click it. I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, the other one that came with it is fine, but I found this one is easier for me to stop and start easily. And it was worth $10 to have that added to it. But you can see that with this added on, I've got all of this. I've also, because just of the way it is, I've got these two plugs here that plug the battery and give power to the machine. This is my pedal. Okay. This machine doesn't have a way to add a pedal. It doesn't have this extra port here. This is where I plug in my charger to charge it. So I can charge while I'm spinning, or I can charge it, you know, when it's not spinning. This one, okay, come on. It's got these suction cups on the bottom, and they really like this glass. This one has a charging port right here, so I can charge this one while I'm spinning too, and I like that about it. The both of these, I think the weight is pretty much doubled when you put a battery in it, and that makes this one heavy enough that it doesn't slide around. It does have these little bitty rubber feet on it, and they're plenty. You don't need those suction cups with this one because it has its own weight to it. This one, the suction cups are very helpful, and they do come with it. And, well, this one's really easy to take apart, so I'll show you. There's the battery. Just fits inside, and the battery doesn't come with it. Because sometimes people have batteries already, and they don't want to pay extra for a battery they don't need. But you do have to have a specific output for this machine, and that's different than the output for this machine. This is a bigger motor. It needs more power than this one. So you do have to buy a specific, not a specific brand, but a specific voltage type battery to go with each one. And on their website, Dreaming Robots tells you what that might be. Now, as a brand new spinner, I think this one would be easier to learn on because it's not quite as touchy as this one. This one, if you get the speed up a little too high or your tension a little too much or not enough, it stops drawing on. But you can spin with this one. I mean, you can learn on it. A lot of people have, and they haven't had any trouble. But this one, I think, would be easier to learn on. Plus, it's more versatile. But if you just want a little spinner to take on trips with you, or you just want to try out spinning, and you're not sure if you're going to like it or not, then this would be a good choice because it's so much cheaper. One other thing to keep in mind about these, I resisted electric spinners mostly because of the price until I found Dreaming Robots. So that was the main reason I didn't have one. Now, I know people who have said, and they've said it to me, oh, well, that's not real spinning because you need a wheel where you have to use your legs, your feet. That's real spinning. This is cheating. That's what they said. This is cheating because you don't have to use your feet. Well, some people think that, and they're entitled to their opinion. I don't care. But the way I look at it is my back and my knees and my hip won't allow me to use my traditional spinning wheel. I have one. That's what I learned on. But I can't use it for long periods of time. And I have to sit in a certain chair or it really debilitates me. It's also less portable. I can take it with me, and I have. I've taken it to our history fairs and things like that. But these are way more portable. But not having, if you're afraid to learn to spin because you don't think you have the coordination, taking away the foot aspect of it, that's one less thing you have to learn. With these, all you have to learn is the hand movements, the drafting, and all of that kind of stuff. You don't have to learn about how to get your feet to coordinate and be faster or slower or the same or whatever as your hands. So, plus, these are cheaper, basically, than most spinning wheels. Now, they're not cheaper than spindles, although there are some spindles you can buy that are more expensive than either one of these. But you can learn to spin on a drop spindle, and you can make your own. And I even have videos on that in my spinning playlist on how to make a drop spindle. I show you how to do it. I show you all the steps to go through to make yarn in that playlist. And so you can look at that. All that's done on a drop spindle costs you, $7 or $8 to get that made if you have to, and then you'll have enough stuff left over to make 4 or 5 more. And then all you have to do is find some wool. And the wool is available now at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it at Michael's, but they may have it. If they have felting supplies, they have wool. But it's very expensive to buy your wool like that because they come in little pretty colored bunches, and it's just not cost effective if you're going to spin a skein of yarn to buy that yarn and do that with it. So, but there are so many places online. There are lots of places on Etsy that do a wonderful job, and they send beautiful stuff. Some have fleeces you can buy. Some have independently. They're called indie dyers. So they have independent dyers. They buy the top from the commercial factory, and then they dye it themselves and sell it in braids. Usually 2 to 4 ounce braids. Sometimes they make them bigger than that, but 4 ounces or 100 grams. I know 100 grams is not 4 ounces, but that's the way you see them the most often, in 100-gram braids or in 4-ounce braids. And that's enough to spin a good skein of yarn. So if but if you invest in it in its undyed form, it's much, much cheaper. And you can dye it yourself. You can dye it with Easter egg dye. You can dye it with food coloring. You just have to add some vinegar in there to make the yarn hold on to, or make the wool hold on to the dye. You can also spin you can buy acrylic roving and spin it. In fact, at Hobby Lobby, they have some really fat yarn, acrylic yarn, that you just untwist it a little bit and you can spin it if you don't like wool. I will say that I was allergic to wool all my life. I couldn't wear wool sweaters. I didn't like wool hats, gloves, none of that stuff. But I had never had hand spun wool anything. And there is a difference. And you can get wool to spin that is extremely soft. I mean, you would snuggle it around your naked baby, and not worry about it. You can get wool that's that soft. And typically that's merino. Cormo and Rambouillet. There are a few others that are really, really, really soft. Next to skin soft easily. But you can also get wool that's more sturdy and can do other things. Anyway, this is not trying to turn into a everything about spinning video. I'm just wanting to share these inexpensive and yet very well made little spinners with you. And I'm going to start by spinning with this one, and I'm just going to move this one out of the way and all its stuff. And I'm just going to put this one here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it down because it is so lightweight. You can pull it. You can just pull it along. Okay. I pulled that off the wrong end, and so it was the end of where it had been dyed, and it was kind of matted a little bit, so it wouldn't have spun as easily. Okay. Whoops. Didn't get it stuck down as good as I thought I did. Okay. So you turn it on in the back, and then I'm just going to put this right up here so I can join it on. And then we can start spinning. Let's see, there's a little piece of vegetable matter. Even in the top that you buy, you have to deal with some of that. This is called going across the top, spinning across the top, and you just use your thumb to kind of maneuver across and pick up the wool as you go. There are sometimes that's really, really advantageous to get the color mixing that you want. In this case, it really doesn't matter because this skein of yarn, I've been just doing whatever I feel like. I mean, as far as going across the top or just sitting in the middle for a while, and like right here trying to pull out some of that red and make, a more colored stripe there. Okay, and we're going to scoot that up a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and roll this up a little bit so that I can attach it here. I'll turn that off, because if I forget and I pick it up and turn it on, that would not be good. Okay, now then we're going to bring this one over here, And I'll stick this one over there. Okay. And we bring this around here. And let's make sure we've got that turned on. And then we'll spin a little bit with this one. And you can see this one's, well, I have this one set at a higher speed too, but this one doesn't have the power and it doesn't go as fast. You can't get it to go as fast as this one will go. I don't spin this one as fast as it will go, so I'm not worried about that. But I do spin it faster when I'm doing woolen than when I'm doing worsted. So I turn it up a little bit when I'm doing that, but you learn all that as you go. Okay. That one was on and I turned it off, so sorry. Okay. Now this one, I'm spinning this woolen. So it's a different method of spinning, but the main thing I'm wanting you to see is that just the difference in the sound and the speed and everything. I have both of these set at about half of their maximum speed. So if that tells you anything. Uh-oh. Came apart. When it does that, you know it, because suddenly everything is different. Okay. So we will take this back up here, get my little hook. One of the first things you learn, and it's out of necessity usually, is how to join, join the your roving or top or whatever you're spinning. Okay. Anyway, that is my little comparison. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I feel like you need to know. Comparing these two little spinners. I love them both. And so neither one of them make me regret buying them. That's for sure. This one got me back into spinning. So it's my favorite because if I hadn't bought this, I wouldn't be spinning. And I love spinning. So I was very grateful that Maurice was able to make a machine that works so well at such an inexpensive price. And this one is just kind of icing on the cake for me to have a smaller one that I can more easily take with me, and to know that I can use it with this one. Plus, sometimes I get bored and I want to go spin something else. Now I do have a bunch of bobbins. You can buy extra bobbins for these. And you can 3D print extra bobbins if you want to. And that's another thing that Maurice has done at Dreaming Robots. There are Thingiverse. He gives Thingiverse, or puts out on I think it's Thingiverse, the specs for these so that you can print them yourself if you want to. I think that's pretty awesome. And for several other things, for hooks, for the orifice reducers, there are several things that there are some hooks you can replace on this one. These have done everything I need it to do, but some hooks that are more like this that you can put on this one that you can print on a 3D printer. So I can't say enough good things about the company itself or about these. Now, there were some quirks, things I had to diagnose and try to fix with this one, and some people had found some little quirky things they had to adjust with this one. I didn't have to adjust anything with this one. I just had to learn how to get it in that sweet spot where it would take up. But anyway, commercial's over. If you're on the fence, I say go for it. Love you all. God bless you. Bye-bye.